Welcome to the Shifting Inward podcast, where we explore the mindset blocks that keep entrepreneurs stuck. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions drive your success. When you shift what's happening internally, everything externally starts to move. Hi, I'm Joe Rizk, and in this episode, we're discussing fear of success, why you might be unconsciously avoiding the very breakthrough you say you want. So let's get into it. Fear of success is exactly what it sounds like, but it's one of the hardest mindset blocks to recognize because it doesn't make logical sense. Why would you be afraid of the thing you're working toward? But here's the truth. Success comes with consequences, visibility, responsibility, change, expectations. And for some people, those consequences feel more threatening than staying where they are, so they unconsciously pump the brakes right when momentum is building. Fear of success isn't about not wanting to succeed. It's about being afraid of what success will require of you, afraid of who you'll become, afraid of what you might lose, afraid of what people will expect once you're quote-unquote successful. It's the voice that says, what if I can't handle it? What if it's too much? What if people judge me? What if I lose myself in the process? And instead of pushing through that discomfort, you slow down. You sabotage. You stay safe. And here's the tricky part. Fear of success looks a lot like fear of failure. You procrastinate. You don't finish. You don't launch. But the difference is this. Fear of failure says, what if it doesn't work? Whereas fear of success says, what if it does? So what does fear of success actually look like in your business? Maybe you're on the verge of launching something big, and suddenly you lose momentum. You get distracted by a new idea. You decide the offer needs to be completely reworked. You find reasons to delay, not because it's not ready, but because launching means being seen, and being seen feels vulnerable. Maybe you consistently stop yourself right before a breakthrough. You build momentum, you start seeing traction, things are working, and then you pull back. You stop posting, you stop following up with leads, you disappear. You tell yourself you need a break, but really the visibility was starting to feel uncomfortable. Here's a big one. You avoid opportunities that would elevate you. Someone offers to feature you on their podcast, promote your work, or introduce you to their network, and you say no. Or you say yes and then don't follow through. Because deep down, more visibility means more scrutiny, more expectations, and more pressure. Maybe you keep yourself busy with low-level tasks instead of focusing on what would actually grow your business. You reorganize your website. You tweak your branding. You research tools. You do everything except the thing that would actually move the needle. Because that thing requires you to step up, and stepping up feels scary. And here's what happens over time. You stay stuck in the almost phase, almost ready to launch, almost ready to scale, almost ready to be visible, but you never quite get there. Because getting there means facing what comes next, and that feels overwhelming. So where does fear of success come from? A lot of fear of success is rooted in what you witnessed growing up. Maybe you saw someone who was successful but miserable, a parent who worked all the time and had no life outside of work, a business owner who was always stressed out, always stretched thin, always under pressure. So part of you learned that success equals burnout, success equals sacrifice, success equals losing yourself. There's also something called upper limit beliefs. This is the idea that you have an internal ceiling for how much success, happiness, or recognition you believe you're allowed to have. So when you start to exceed that limit, your subconscious gets uncomfortable. It feels unfamiliar. It feels like too much. So it finds a way to bring you back down to what feels normal, even if normal means stuck. For some people, fear of failure is tied to their identity. You've spent years being the underdog, the person who's working towards something. And when success starts to become real, it challenges that identity. Who are you if you're not striving anymore? What if you actually get what you want and it doesn't feel the way you thought it would? What if success changes you in ways you don't like? And here's the deeper fear. What if I can't sustain it? What if I succeed and then it all falls apart? What if I let people down? What if I'm not capable of handling what comes next? So instead of finding out, you keep yourself at a safe distance from actually achieving it. But here's the truth. Success doesn't have to look like what you're afraid of. You get to define what success means for you. You get to set the boundaries. You get to build something that feels sustainable. But first, you have to be willing to let yourself get there. Okay, so let's reframe this. Fear of success isn't proof that you're not ready. It's proof that you're close. Your brain only freaks out when something big is about to shift. If success wasn't within reach, you wouldn't be afraid of it. The shift starts with recognizing the fear for what it is. This isn't about whether you're capable. This is about whether you're willing to step into this new version of yourself. And that's uncomfortable. Change is always uncomfortable, even when it's change you've been working toward. Here's another shift. Success doesn't mean you have to become someone you're not. You can be successful and still have boundaries. You can grow your business without sacrificing your values, your relationships, or your peace. Success is something you build, and you get to decide what it looks like. It doesn't have to mirror someone else's version of it. Stop asking, what if I can't handle it? And start asking, what support do I need to handle it well? Because the answer isn't to avoid success. The answer is to prepare yourself for it. Build the systems, set the boundaries, ask for help. Create a version of success that actually feels sustainable. So, how do you actually move past fear of success? First, name the fear. What specifically are you afraid success will bring? Write it down. Is it more visibility, more responsibility, more pressure, loss of freedom, judgment from others? When you name it, it becomes something you can address instead of something that controls you from the shadows. Next, redefine what success looks like for you. Stop measuring yourself against someone else's version of success. What do you actually want? Maybe it's not a 7-figure business. Maybe it's a sustainable income with time for your family. Maybe it's creative freedom. Maybe it's impact over scale. Define it clearly so you're moving towards something that actually feels good, not something that terrifies you. Next, start building the support you'll need before you get there. If you're afraid success will overwhelm you, put systems in place now. Hire help, set boundaries, create processes. Don't wait until you're drowning to ask for support. Build the foundation for success while you're still building toward it. And finally, give yourself permission to succeed. This sounds simple, but it's powerful. Say it out loud. I am allowed to succeed. I'm allowed to be visible. I'm allowed to grow. I'm allowed to have what I've been working toward. Because sometimes the only thing standing between you and success is your own permission. If this resonated, drop a comment and share your story. Have you struggled with fear of success in your business? What helped you move through it? I'd love to hear about it. And I invite you to join our free school community to connect with other entrepreneurs who are breaking through mindset blocks and supporting and celebrating each other's growth. Link in the description. I'm Joe, and I help entrepreneurs shift inward so they can move forward. See you next time.